3, 2,
Uno.
1, 2. Corgis!
Oh.
Corgis! Oh, there's an echo. I didn't leave my stream. Haha. See, one of these days, it's been like what, 2.5 months now that I've been doing this.
Yep.
One of these days, I'm gonna figure out what the hell I'm doing.
Nah. Who needs that? It's overrated.
Sorry.
No,
for
what you're
the
doing
echo.
is overrated.
Welcome everybody. How's it going?
Hola. Senors and senoritas.
Tonight, we are talking about this idea of whether you can make somebody fall in love with you or not. Which is kind of cool because there is some actual research behind it. I read the research paper and I was going to get all clinical and like, hey guys. But I'm not going to do that because there's really only like one person who watches us right now that would maybe even remotely be interested, and I'm not sure if she's watching at the moment.
And you can chat offline.
Yeah, I will link the research in the chat here in a minute so that anybody who wants to look at it, Sidney, if you're out there and you're interested, I will put it in the chat so people can see it. But yeah, it is. So know that what we're talking about is based on some actual semi-clinical research. After having read it, it's not exactly like a perfect experiment in a clinical sense where
Sure.
you've got random groups and a large sample number of people. It was originally conducted in a psychology class. It was originally using just participants who happened to be in this class, who volunteered and said yes. The pairs of people were deliberately put together, so the researchers kind of knew, okay, we're going to put, based on their responses to an initial survey, they said, we're going to put this person and this person together, so it's not random at all. So with that, keep that in mind. With all that said, this is not like super duper, like scientific.
No.
It's totally proven or anything like that. It's just suggesting that it is in fact possible. That you can draw people together by having them ask and answer progressively more and more intimate questions. And so what they did was they came up with these 36 questions that people can ask each other and answer, that progressively get more and more intimate about information and self-disclosure. And we're going to answer those tonight. Most of them.
Well, there's 36 of them, so we may not get to all of them tonight.
Yeah, we might not get to them
It might
all.
be like a 2 or 3-parter situation.
Plus, some of these things are stuff like, what about the way you grew up or whatever, and it's talking about stuff that
We're not putting out there.
or really like any two people that were like dating or starting to get to know each other or whatever, you might answer, that would be totally fine to talk about, but on the internet with like a bunch of people watching, maybe it talks about our parents and things like that, not so much.
Well, and there's a couple questions that are like, well, too late now.
Right. So there are a lot of questions on here that keep in mind that as a married couple, we've been married for 12 and a half years. We've been together for 16 and a half years. We really already know a lot of this shit about each other.
Right.
So it's not like we're going to tell people or each other these things and we're going to go, oh my gosh, that's fascinating. Right?
I have the papers.
I already knew.
Yeah. I do want to give credit, though.
Hi, Miss Maryberry.
I got this idea from a colleague of mine who frequently tunes in. I believe that they're doing some outside work tonight on their yard and their fence. But a coworker of mine and I were talking about show content and just trying to figure some things out. And her husband actually will sometimes just turn to these questions at dinner and just dinner conversation, answer these questions. And that's where I heard about it. So thanks to the fish bowls for content idea.
Yeah. So we're going to talk about 36 questions from an article that was written called Do This to Fall in Love With. What is it called?
Not that.
No.
It's not.
Yeah. It was called...
the 36 questions that lead to love.
Yes. But the...
Yeah,
the blog or the podcast was called To Fall in Love, Do This.
To fall in love with anyone.
Yeah.
Do this.
So we're going to read those and we're going to go over them. As many as we can get to and feel comfortable talking about
In an hour.
on the internet.
Yeah.
So, here
Number
we go.
one.
Ready? Corgis!
If you could invite anyone in the world to dinner, who would it be? And I think we agreed that for the sake of brevity, that we are going to go with someone who's alive.
Yeah, because if we were talking about somebody who's dead, like, oh my god, that opens it up to like 80 zillion people.
Well, alive is just as hard to choose from, in my mind. Not for you. For me, I know it's not for you. We actually did talk about this question a couple weeks ago.
We did.
And then he's like, we should answer them on the air. Okay, so we'll stop. So you can go first.
Dave Grohl. 100% Dave Grohl. I thought about it and I hesitated because I was like, well, that would be really cool. I love the Foo Fighters and I love Dave Grohl. He is the coolest motherfucker on the face of this planet. But I was like, other than just satisfying, like, yeah, I got to meet Dave Grohl. What good does that do me? It's not gonna. It's not like, oh, I learned something super fascinating from Dave. No, it just would be cool. So I guess I didn't really think about any further than that. If there was something I would like hugely benefit from. But yeah.
Yeah. So my choice, I actually initially said Michelle Obama. Then I thought about it and said no. As cool as that would be, because I just watched her documentary on Netflix and I have her book and I have yet to read it, Becoming. And I think she'd just be amazing just to sit down and talk to. I actually changed my mind and I chose Jen Hatmaker. Now, Jen Hatmaker,
who's that?
Yes, Jen Hatmaker is amazing. She is like a blogger, an author, a mother of 5, and she calls herself insane. She has written several personal development books that I love. One's called For the Love, one's called Of Mess and Moxie, and then she just released a new one. And of course, I don't have it, so I don't remember the title of it, but it's like Fierce, Free, and something about like being your true self. But just her style of writing, I really love, and I follow her on Instagram, and she's hilarious, and she tours and speaks around the country, primarily to women. So she's like a woman's champion, and she's just correct. I've learned a lot from her books. I learned a lot from her podcast, also titled For the Love. I actually started listening to her podcast not long after our miscarriage, and she does it in like series. So like her first series was For the Love of Girlfriends, and I listened to that series, and a couple of people that joined her had miscarriages and talked about the importance of their girlfriends during this time, and like it just hit me like right where it needed to hit me, and I've loved her ever since. I would just love to sit down and talk to her and like just talk to her about all the things in the world. She's just an amazing, amazing, amazing woman. So I'm sure there are, if I had more time, I've had like 2 weeks. I just chose not to think about it beyond Jen Hatmaker. I think she's amazing. So how many concerts have you been to, Bob? How many Foo Fighters concerts have you attended? One?
How many of theirs? Just one. Just the most recent one that was here in the Twin Cities.
I went to, and I
how
really
many have I been to total ever?
No. Oh, I don't know.
Well, how many concerts? Oh. Yeah.
Okay.
Aerosmith, Metallica, Foo Fighters, Chili Peppers. 5 total.
Lame.
Oh, just theirs? Just the one.
We went, that was a really good concert, except I felt like an old lady because that is the only concert I've ever been to where I stood the entire time. And I was not wearing the right shoes for that. And I felt like such an old lady because by the end of the night, my back was killing me standing on concrete and not very supportive shoes, but it was a really great show.
Yeah.
Oh, I've been to more than 5. I mean, don't worry about that.
Also, keep in mind, like, you are not that old compared. So, like, Dave Grohl, that he's like in his late 40s, maybe early 50s. Yeah. No, he's like that. Like them dudes are getting old. Like Pat Smear's like old as shit compared to like a lot of people when you talk about like.
See, so you said you've been to 5. I've been to 5. I think 5 Rascal Flatts concerts alone. If you add, I mean, I've been to probably 15 to 20 concerts, which I'm sure Meredith's going to say that maybe it is not a satisfactory number, but yeah. Anyway, I enjoy. 15 to 20 or so. But of course now, who knows what that'll look like going forward. I was watching. This is so not on topic, but concerts.
COVID.
Last night there was like a Best of Country Fest on TV. Like,
yeah,
and
instead of the Country Music Awards or whatever.
Right, and it was just so bizarre to think about what that time where we could just go to a concert felt so far away. And I was supposed to go to a Rascal Flatts concert on the 31st of this month, and I'm super bummed because it was like their farewell tours. I'm really hoping that they're
going to reschedule it?
I really hope they do, because then they never did it, technically. So hopefully they do, because I love Rascal Flatts. They're my favorite band. I just love them. Anyway, moving on. Number 2. Numero dos.
Number 2. Would you like to be famous? In what way?
Uh-huh. I would. I'd like to be famous.
In what way?
Well, growing up, I wanted to be a professional singer. Always wanted to be a professional singer. Wanted to try out for Idol. Never had the guts to do it. And there was a time in my career during the 8 years of the Obama administration that I thought, man, that'd be really cool to interpret for Obama one day. But I don't particularly have that dream currently in the administration that
I don't
we're
know what
in.
you mean.
So that dream is kind of on the back burner temporarily, unless I could actually interpret for Obama or Michelle Obama. I mean, that would be cool. Just not in a presidential way, but yeah. How about you?
Would I like to be famous? Sure.
You have kind of been on like a very small local scale before.
Okay.
Kind of.
Let's go on a tangent about
Not
that.
famous, but known.
Well, okay, but let's go on a tangent about that, right? Because we're on the internet. We're in a platform where like people on the internet are watching us. And sometimes
Well,
it's
shit.
not just our friends. So
Right.
am I putting our lives out, are we putting our lives out here for the benefit and frankly entertainment of others? Sure.
C.
Is that to some degree the goal? Yeah, of course. Are we doing this for like money and no? Like
I mean, we will, but
we're not going to be the next Dr. Disrespect or like Ninja or whatever. But
I don't want to be Ninja.
well, 2 people that aren't even on Twitch anymore.
Although a lot of the students that I work with who game, like Ninja is. I mean, he was. I don't know. I haven't talked to him about Ninja recently.
He went to YouTube. So he went to Mixer, and then Mixer closed,
they still
and
know
then
who
he
he
went to
is.
YouTube. Yes.
Even if he's on Twitch. But anyway, so I don't want to be
So
Ninja.
yes, would I like to be famous in some way? Sure, absolutely. In what way? I don't know. In a way that, in a sense, I already had a very small and a very like weird microcosm sense of notoriety.
You did.
When I first started selling cars, because I was the like king of the Mitsubishi Evo in the Minnesota car community. In fact, frankly, the country, because I sold more of them than anyone in the country in 2013.
And there was a brief moment where
Take that, Sam from South Coast Mitsubishi.
Ooh, it's been brought.
I
I don't know.
I'm just starting fake internet beef because that's how you get popular.
It's how you get famous.
Yeah, exactly.
And for a brief time, you were like you weren't like famous in the deaf community at all, but like because you knew sign language, you were getting a lot of business from customers who came in to Mitsubishi who were deaf.
Yeah. It is okay. It is a little bit weird if people like in the car world, people recognized me and I had absolutely no clue who they were.
Right. That's
Because
right.
and it wasn't okay. First of all,
That was
I'm really
weird.
bad with names and faces and shit.
Remember episode number 1? Terrible memory.
But it was worse because I hadn't met some of these people before, and they would come up to me and say, "Oh, you're the Evo guy," and I was like, "Yeah, that's me."
Yeah. Totes.
And you are. And it was really weird at first because it was like, oh, people actually know who I am, and when I do things, people hear about it. That's both good and bad.
Right. All right. So, all right. I don't know what's next.
Should we move on to number 3?
Let's do it.
All right, cool. Number 3.
Before making a telephone call, do you ever rehearse what you are going to say and why?
If I'm just making like a regular phone call, like I'm calling the vet or I'm calling the cable company or whatever, no.
You probably should. I've heard you on the phone sometimes calling the
What do you mean?
calling the doctor and stuff, and like you're like, yeah, I have a question, and like it's super vague and like not to the point, and like I'm sitting here in the background like, oh my God, say this word. Say this magic word. Because my part-time job is interpreting phone calls for people. So I know all of these, like, words that you should, like, when you call the doctor, like, how you should phrase things to, like, get to the right place and, like, whatever it is, whatever. So I do sometimes rehearse what I'm going to say. I guess it depends. Yeah, I do. The thing about it, though, is that now, in the time we live in, if I'm just calling a friend, it's so rare that I don't rehearse what I'm going to say.
Really?
What do you mean? Calling friends is rare?
No, that you don't rehearse. It's rare that you usually do.
No, like if I'm calling like the doctor, or if I'm calling the vet, or if I'm calling for like a business reason, I will think about what it is I want to ask them and what it is that I want to say. But if like I'm just calling a friend, yeah, I might have a reason why I'm calling them, but I don't like rehearse how I'm going to ask them.
I only rehearse something if I'm really fired up about something, and
sure,
okay, because I'm very argumentative, and so when I think about how am I going to get exactly what I want out of this phone call, it usually turns into, okay, if they say this, then I'm going to say this. If they say this, then I'm going to say this.
And I think that now so much of that happens, unfortunately, over like text message or email, which is kind of unfortunate, just because tone matters. But like, I think maybe in the past when I would have to have these uncomfortable conversations over the phone, then I probably would. But now when I'm talking to a friend or something on the phone and having a personal conversation, it's usually just, hey, what's up? How are you?
Yeah. And by the way, if anyone hanging out in chat wants
Kathy,
to answer these questions, like, feel free, we'll read them.
Kathy, you're the one that I was thinking about when I talked to you on the phone. Depends. Don't want to pull a word vomit like someone on here. Are you talking about me? Oh my gosh. She's talking about when I announced my pregnancy. Is that what you're talking about?
I'm sorry, Kathy. If anyone's going to talk about word vomit, it's you.
It shouldn't be you.
It's you. I mean, who was it in college when we were talking about how
Jackie.
Yes, Jackie, about Kathy telling a story.
It's got to be 5 minutes or less. If it can't be in less than 5 minutes, it's not worth telling. So I think Kathy might be referring to...
It's you too, Meredith? Okay.
Yeah. I think Kathy might be referring to when the first time I was pregnant, and
you just blurted it out.
But that's not on the phone. That was in person. It's a little bit different. But yeah, we had plans before I knew I was pregnant. Yeah, she's verifying that is true. Before I found out I was pregnant, we had plans to go to a brewery on my birthday, on a Thursday night. And I found out I was pregnant the Sunday before my birthday. And the people that we invited were the exact people that we would have told right away. So it was perfect that we were going to see them that soon after finding out. And, like, I really didn't know what I was going to say to them. I had no idea, like, because I think I had a plan in my head, and then when we got there, like, I got really, really nervous, and, like, I didn't know what to do, and I didn't want anyone to, like...
And then you started rambling, and then out of nowhere, completely, like, unrelated, oh, and I'm pregnant.
No, I wasn't even rambling. I just got there and kind of was like, hey, so I'm pregnant. And I just, like, and everyone's like, what? Stop. Because I think I didn't know what to do, because I didn't want anyone to have, like, already bought me a drink, or, like, I didn't want to have, like, a fake drink, and then I didn't want anyone to guess before I could tell them. And I just got really nervous and worked up, and I just blurted it out. And it was not at all how I wanted to tell them. The second time it went a little bit better. A little bit better. I told a couple of my friends at breakfast, and a couple of my friends, like, in the car. You know, I mean, although the first person that I told other than my family was just over text, because we text, like, first thing in the morning, and I planned that. Number 4.
Okay, let's move on to number 4.
Apparently he doesn't care about what I have to say anymore.
There, thank you. Appreciate that.
He's rushing me.
Thank you for the biddies. And the cargo! Cargo!
Yay.
There's a little cargo emoji.
I see it. Yeah, thank you. What would constitute a perfect day for you? Sleeping?
Yeah, I feel like our answer is very similar on this one. It's a lot of lounging around with the dogs and our kid, and for me, doing some like hanging out and gaming.
Mine would probably involve
Drinking beer.
drinking,
Sitting on the patio.
vegging out.
Yeah.
Probably
just
some-
very chill. Maybe go to a brewery.
Some kind. Yeah. See, here's the thing. In the world we live in right now, it would be like sitting at home, vegging out, maybe watching some Netflix. Maybe
I feel
being on
like
the
we can
patio.
answer this question together because our answers are similar enough.
Right. You know, in a world where it's a little bit easier and safer to be out and about, specifically with Lucas, oh, for sure, a perfect day before COVID was just brewery hopping and just being out with friends and like picking breweries based on what food was around it, so we could like order food, or sometimes we would be like, well, I'm really hungry for pizza. Okay, where are we gonna go that has pizza?
Who's got the pizza food truck? Yeah.
You know, or what food trucks these guys all have, or you know, whatever. So yeah, I think just hanging out, relaxing. I mean, let's be real. The perfect day for me would probably be spending the day at the Magic Kingdom on a nice, breezy 70-degree day. That's probably like my perfect day, but
That's fair. That's fair.
that would be just you and me riding rides, and some friends maybe,
And no fucking lines.
and no lines, and not on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
That was fun, but I wouldn't do it on
But
Christmas
it's
Day
the
again.
busiest time of the year for
Yeah.
them, and it
Yeah.
is a giant clusterfuck.
Yeah, and I mean the weather was great. We had great weather, but yeah, and I loved Disney at Christmas. It was beautiful, beautiful. It was so beautiful, but I wouldn't do that again.
Sorry, I'm just looking. I glanced up at the mic right as it clipped, and a red light comes on when it clips. Y'all might notice we sound a little bit different because I covered the entire room with sound foam except for behind me. So we sound a little bit less. Well, me in particular, because I have a low voice and it reverberates everywhere. I sound a little bit less like echoey. Hopefully.
All right, number 5.
All right, number 5.
And again, I don't know if you guys heard this, and Bobby mentioned this before. Feel free to give us your answers too.
Yeah.
Because we would love to hear what you guys have to
If
say.
you're comfortable answering this stuff, go ahead. Great. We'll read them.
Daytime beer festival, then same night bar hopping to fun places.
Yeah, that would be fun. Or like we want to go to like Portland because they have like a craft beer festival every year, and
Still
Portland
wanna
is
go
easily one of the top 5 like craft beer destinations in the country. It'd be super fun.
I want to get an Airbnb, like a fun Airbnb with a group of friends, go to Portland, do the beer festival, and just check out Portland. We were gonna do that actually. We had talked about doing it a couple years ago, and then we got pregnant, and then we had the miscarriage, and then we were like, well, maybe not this coming summer because we want to keep trying. So, never happened. So we would love to do it though.
Never happened. Oh well.
Yes. Okay. Yes, Meredith, you will.
Yes, we will definitely tell you when we're going
Yes.
if we're going. So.
All right. When did you last sing to yourself to somebody else? I don't know. Probably in the last 20 minutes.
I mean, okay, hang on. Are we talking about like legitimately singing, or are we talking about like us goofing around, like, you know, making up words for a song? Okay, we make up songs about our dogs and about our son all the time.
And pet owners, you're with me on this. And
Yes.
maybe aunts, parents.
We put like Chewy and Nemo,
and
or
Lucas.
Choo Choo or
Choo.
whatever into songs, and specifically like TV and radio jingles all the time.
Yeah.
And anytime those ads come on, we just start singing them to them.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
So
Or
the answer
just
to
in
when did I
general.
last sing to somebody is like all the time.
Like a full like song, probably in the car on the way to daycare.
Kathy.
20 Nemos.
Yes,
in his
20
pocket.
Nemos in my pocket. That's a whole nother story.
That's a-
One night I came home really drunk from a
Benefit.
memorial benefit for a friend of mine. I was wasted.
2:30 in the morning. I hear him walking down the hallway, singing. Oh, karaoke was a regular thing before COVID. Yeah, right. And I don't know how much I can say because of like song
It's fine.
right things.
You're fine.
Yeah. He started singing Thrift Shop, except he said, "I'm gonna pop some tags. I've got 20 Nemos in my pocket."
And that became a thing for a couple of years amongst our
A
friends.
couple of years, people still talk about toy Nemo's in your pocket.
It still
Are you
is,
kidding?
yes.
Hello, Kathy literally just mentioned Nemo is in my pockets. My goodness gracious.
Meredith sings daily at the office.
Oh, yeah. For sure in my car, I sing. If I'm not listening to a podcast or if I'm not jamming out, I sing.
Yeah,
in
you're
my
a car
car.
singer. I sing in my car, not with
in my
you.
shower. In the shower, I sing to Lucas every time I put him down for a nap or
Right.
bed. But I mean, that's a completely made up song that I made up in the throes of newborn land when I just wanted him to go to sleep.
Do you want to sing it on the
and
internet?
I was just no, and I was just singing words, and it's become like a song that I sing. So yes, to someone else, I just sang to Lucas about an hour ago. So yes, in the car.
Yeah, definitely in
Yeah.
the car.
Yeah.
Yeah, you guys sing it, make up songs. Yeah.
There's a Lady Gaga song that we have changed to Nemo Butt.
Yeah.
And that's just kind of what we say when he shows up anywhere. Anyway, number
All right, number 6.
If you were able,
I feel like we need a drum roll. This is like
you need the chord transition every time.
you can't do that.
Next time.
Well, no, can't do it because it's their
It's
website.
not your page.
Yeah.
If you were able to live to the age of 90 and retain either the mind or body of a 30-year-old for the last 60 years of your life, which would you want? Mind.
Oh, I'd take mine for
Hands
sure.
down.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
I've
Mine.
always said my grandma Jenny was the sharpest woman I knew until
That's exactly what I was thinking too.
until the day she died. She was so sharp, and I hope that I'm as sharp and witty as she was. when I
Seriously,
get to
if
be
you
her
had
age.
talked to her on the phone, you wouldn't know
Nope.
that she was as old as she was.
No, because she didn't have any she didn't have any cognitive. She had heart issues, so she was super sharp and she was on it. And she had a little bit of lost her hearing a teeny tiny bit.
I mean, you can tell in her voice that she was
an old
a
lady.
little older, but you would have
a
said
little older. She was 89.
You'd have maybe said she was in her 70s. You
Yeah.
know,
Right. Yeah, for sure. But what if your body is super deteriorates and you are stuck in your mind and can't talk because you're deteriorating? Yeah, well, yes.
I mean, I
that
guess
is scary.
I mean, I guess
True.
that's a whole different story. But if you're talking about under normal conditions where you're just 90 years old and have that old of a body but can still talk, right?
Right.
I saw something the other day on the
freeze
news.
yourself?
There was a guy who was what?
I was saying to freeze yourself.
Oh. No, there was a guy who was 104 or something like that, and they were talking about it on the news because they had to change his birthday, right? Because they printed him a 100th birthday screen printed thing, and they just crossed it out and wrote 104 or whatever. Dude looked like he was 80s year old,
Yeah.
and he sharp as a tack. It was kind of cool.
Oh yeah. No, yeah. For
But if that's
sure.
the case, I'd 100% take 60-year-old mind.
30-year-old mind for the last 60
Oh.
years of your life.
Oh.
So when you're 30 to 90, you'd have a 30-year-old mind.
Oh, I'd take 30-year-old
yeah.
mind. Yeah,
I'd
no,
age.
yeah,
I would physically.
for sure.
I
mean, here's the so the flip side of that, Mara, is what happens if you have a 30-year-old body and a 90-year-old mind, and you're just you have a bunch of mental issues at that age. Not that every 90-year-old does, but
right.
fairly
no.
common.
I would rather age like a 90-year-old, physically, and have a sharp mind.
Yeah,
That's what
so
I
would
would. Yeah, because I am taking in my grays. I'm taking in my wrinkles. I'm good with them. I just want to stay sharp.
I'll take all of those in when I'm 60,
I know.
because that's just what's going to happen to me.
Yeah, people of Asian descent typically don't gradually age. They age overnight. So I say mind. Yep. Okay.
Yeah, Meredith says mine too.
Number 7. Do you have a secret hunch about how you will die? No, but I kind of have a funny story about my parents dying, in my head.
Wait, how is that funny?
Nope. Here's what's funny. I have this and I think this applies to every single person out there who has deaf parents. I just have this nightmare that they'll be on their deathbed and they'll be about to die and they'll just go, "I heard you this whole time." That's oh my god, Anyway,
I know everything.
I heard every time you called me a bitch. That's just a fear that do I have a hunch about how I will die? No, I don't. I don't really. I'd like to think just kind of old age and organs just kind of slowly fall apart. as I'm like old in my 80s, 90s. Like but I don't know. I don't have a hunch. I just hope that's what happens. What about you?
I don't have a secret hunch. I think it's no secret how I think I'm gonna die if I die prematurely.
Gun?
No.
Car?
Car.
We almost did that once. You almost flipped. Well, you did flip, but you could have died in a car accident.
I don't think it's a secret how I might die someday if I'm gonna die early.
But you don't wear your helmet when you drive.
No.
Ever. Anyway.
But
where's
really,
Chewy?
having that and knowing how I drive, is more so my point.
Yeah. Anytime before your husband.
You almost drowned?
Oh, yeah.
Yikes.
Drowning is scary.
That's
I would
not
do that
good.
too. No.
Okay, side note, what do you think is the worst way to die?
I don't know. I think a drawn out process that I am aware is happening.
Well,
And
like a terminal illness?
Well, or where I can like feel that I'm dying. Like no, I don't know. I don't know the worst way. Hi, Chewy. Sorry,
I mean,
Chewy's just joining us
okay,
now.
let's ignore like long, drawn out, like terminal illness kinds of things. Like within a matter of couple hours, most.
The worst way to die
Yeah.
would be like alone. I think like if I were to be in an accident and no one was around to call 911 and I was just like in the car in a ditch. I think I would be sad to die alone.
Well, sure. I think it's being lit on fire.
Oh,
Because here's the thing. If you're drowning, I hate to say it, this sounds really morbid, but if you're drowning and you know you're drowning and there's nothing you can do about it, you can accelerate that. If you're on fire, that's it. You're just stuck there. And,
yeah. That's true. This is okay. Can we move on? This is super morbid.
I know that's horrible,
Super
but
morbid.
Let's move on to something else.
Okay, so this is okay. Interesting. Name 3 things you and your partner appear to have in common.
So this is one of those questions that's going to be difficult for us to answer because we've been together for 16 and a half years and we know exactly the fucking things we have in common.
Do we?
A lot of them, yeah.
I think it depends on. I think this answer could go a number of ways because someone could answer like superficial things, or you could answer more like deep things. So I think this answer could go many
So
ways.
let's pretend like we were on a first date or on like a
You
couple
like
dates
baseball
in.
too? I don't
Yeah,
know.
exactly.
Yeah, no.
So in let's for example say we were just getting to know each other. We had known each other for like a month, right? Mm-hmm. Things that I would know that you like.
Beer.
We both like beer.
That we both enjoy. I'm trying to think.
Doggos.
Dogs.
Where did Doggo go? He left.
He went back out to the.
Okay.
I think he came to tell us something was happening, and then he went back out to the couch. See, this is what I'm like. Do we know? Well, things that like you maybe Meredith's asking about appear as in not really. No, like if you just started dating and things that like just based on those conversations in the first month or two that you think you have noticed that you have in common with this person. What number 3?
I mean, I can name a bunch of things.
We like to eat.
Yeah. I mean,
oh my gosh!
But there's foods that we eat.
You didn't get to tell your Olive Garden story last week.
I didn't. I forgot about that.
Because we started talking about the Olive Garden date, and then we moved on to something else.
Yes, I know.
Our first date to the Olive Garden / The Matrix.
So last week, for anyone watching that wasn't hanging out with us last week, we were talking about deal breakers. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that I thought would have been weird or that I tried to cover up
Sounds like such a girl thing.
was that I eat really, 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 really fast. Kathy and Meredith, you both might have noticed this.
It's like,
I
do you
eat
taste your
really
food?
fast.
Yes.
And the first date that we went to the Olive Garden for dinner, and I ate really, 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 really slow and really intentionally about it because I didn't want to look like a weirdo and be like, and then done in 5 minutes.
I will say I did order a Caesar salad, and that is because I used to love the Olive Garden Caesar salad. Like, not because I was trying to be, like, dainty. No, I really just loved their Caesar salad. So I ordered it, because at the time, that's how it sounded good. Kathy's, yes, you do.
I do. I eat very fast.
And this is before he became a parent, and there was a necessity to eat fast.
Yes.
This is before that.
Where it's like, okay, we did that tonight. Okay, you go ahead and eat so that you can feed the kid.
Right. Yeah. One of those nights. Yeah. But I think, like, now...
What else do we have? You gotta come up with something. I have 2 already. Come on. And I can name a bunch more.
You and I have talked about this. I don't know what we have in common. Because we just get along. We just work. Like, we have, like...
We like long walks on the beach.
No, we don't, actually.
No,
We don't.
No, we actually don't.
We don't like long walks at all.
We like being lazy together.
Right. AFES, but I also talk a lot, so it comes out normal. Sure. I think one of the things is that you and I both, which is not surface level, but like we both have a lot of the same foundational values.
Right, totally.
Which is super important.
Totally.
Super. We both don't like to smoke or like people who smoke. Or
Sure.
like being around.
But okay, but that
smoke.
would be like a first couple of dates question,
Yeah.
right? That's
Yeah.
an important thing. I've mentioned before. I dated a smoker at one point, and I was like, no, not so much. Won't do that again.
No.
So that to me, if you and I were first dating, that would be super important.
We both. I would say, and again, this I can't think of like flippin' surface level stuff. I just can't right now.
We both like living in the suburbs.
We do.
Neither of us are country people. Neither of us are city people.
Correct. Nothing against that. That's just not how we just.
Yeah,
prefer
that's
the
just not our
suburbs.
preference. That's okay.
We both
Like white cars.
apparently. We do. Apparently, I've had various colors, but I've always liked the pearly white. We road trips. Yeah, we don't necessarily.
Yeah, I know you're a big traveler.
We have only been on like one actual.
Vegas. We like Vegas.
Oh, we love Vegas. Yes. We like to try new places and go out and like do things. Like we like to try new restaurants.
Yeah.
We like to experiment. We like to try new things.
Food. We like food.
We love
just
food.
Period.
We
food.
like queso.
Foodies.
We both love queso.
There you go.
I'm not saying we're foodies.
No.
I don't think we're foodies.
This is why I don't cook though, because if I cooked,
Right.
I would go balls to the wall
And we'd eat at like 9:30 at night. It would take you that long to perfect the meal. And I'd be
Yes.
like, dude, I'm already in bed.
Yes.
Right. We both like, I don't want to say, I guess crime dramas, kind of.
Yeah.
But movies are definitely hard. Movies are hard for us to see.
No, but I mean, pretty much basically all the TV shows that we get into are crime dramas
Type
like
FBI.
Blacklist and
Blind Spot. We were both into
NCIS, Law and Order.
Right, and then you gave up on Law and Order, and I committed to it to the end. We like political dramas, like Designated Survivor.
Yeah.
I loved the West Wing. I try to get in on your comedy, like that kind of crude cartoons, adult
Big
cartoon.
Mouth.
I'll watch it if you have it on, but I'm not like, wait for me.
Sure.
We like period, like
Yes,
Viking,
historical,
yes,
yeah.
those kind of TV
Fiction
shows.
based on history,
Yep,
yeah.
Yep. West Wing, yeah. I like better food than I can cook.
I don't. Okay, Meryl, I don't like Rick and Morty either. I don't quite get the humor. But if you've ever watched like Big Mouth or Paradise PD,
I like Big Mouth actually.
do you?
I think it's funny. I do. Or like you watch Archer, and I don't watch it regularly, but I'll watch it if you have it on.
Sure. Sidwee, if you're watching, you definitely need to watch Big Mouth.
He'll He'll almost never sit down. Oh my gosh. Sometimes though he'll sit down when I'm watching something that I like and he'll just start asking questions, and it's like season 4, episode 15, and I'm like, no, I cannot explain 4 seasons of things to you right now. I don't have time
You
for
at
this.
one point got hooked into watching the first campaign of Critical Role towards the end.
I did, and I was like, oh, this is kind of
Yes,
kind of
Archer. Yes, I
fascinating.
love Archer. Oh my god.
Dude, I literally, this sometimes episode 1. This is an example. I just said Archer. I said it. Did you not hear me? I said
No, I
Archer.
didn't.
Oh my god. Okay, so
Somebody clip that.
okay. It's I think the reason why I'm having a hard time coming up with a list of things we have in common is because like it's just kind of part of who we are as a couple now. Like I don't think of them as things we have in common. They're just who we are as people, as and what makes us work, and
We just work.
we're just like the best. Okay,
Okay, let's move on.
number 9.
Because we're never going to get anywhere.
For what in your life?
There's 36 of these questions.
Well,
Jesus
you don't have
Christ.
to do them all in one night. I mean, we only have 20 minutes left because I have to go to bed at 9. For what in your life do you feel the most grateful? Oh my gosh. I can't.
Do you need a
narrow-
minute?
I can't.
Because I can
narrow
answer
it.
this right now.
I can't narrow it down.
Okay, I can answer this right now. It is hands down my parents and my upbringing. I'm adopted. For those of you who don't know, I mean, the couple people hanging out in chat that know me, you know that. Here's the thing. I was born to young teenage parents in South Korea.
In
For all I
1984.
know, for all I know, I could have been in some little town doing who knows what, living some crappy life because my parents couldn't afford to take care of me, right? I don't know. I was adopted. I was given a very, very, very nice life by 2 loving parents who loved each other until the day my dad died. They would have been married for 38, 39 years when he died.
Oh, when he died.
Yeah.
Last year was 50.
Yeah, so like 30.
So like almost
30,
40 years.
Yeah, almost
when
40
he died.
years,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And I've had, I will readily admit that I am oftentimes one of the most privileged ass people in a room. And so for that, yeah, that's by far and away the thing that I'm most grateful for.
It's interesting because the first thing that came to mind was Lucas, because we waited so long for him and because we went through so much in the process of having him, like the miscarriage. My pregnancy and labor and delivery with Lucas isolated was fine. was normal, was fine, was whatever. But all the stuff leading up to welcoming him into the world was a lot. But so I don't know what this is about. I don't know where this came from, but I have this thing. I'm not super religious, but I've always like heard or whatever that like don't only pray to God when things are bad. So how I fall asleep at night, if I really can't fall asleep, is I pray, because then it focuses my mind on something and I can sleep. So hi.
It's Jen and what? Sorry.
New person.
Hi, new person. It's Jan.
On top.
I on top.
We can't. Wait, sorry, it's really
Jan-
tiny.
Sorry, yeah. How are you tonight?
And so, like, sometimes what I'll do is when I start to pray, I'll start with the things that I'm thankful for before I get into the, like, help me with all these things. I'm in whatever. So that list, like, in particular order, I do have a particular order, is my life, my health, and then I say like Lucas, my husband, my dogs, my family, my friends, the fact that we have a roof over our heads, that we have cars we can drive, that we have jobs, that we have food, like the fact that, I was always kind of similar to you also, as I never wanted for anything. Parents and the values they taught me.
Just to recap, it's Jen. We're hanging out talking about 36 questions that might cause you to fall in love with somebody.
Yeah.
We've been married and together for a very long time, so some of these questions are a little bit silly to us,
yeah.
things we already know, but there is actually some clinical research behind it, and there might be some truth to it.
Yeah. I also am grateful for my upbringing in that if there were ever any financial issues or anything, my brother and I never knew about it. Like, my brother and I never wanted for anything. We were always taken care of. And I think that ultimately that's kind of where I'm at, and that is, the most important thing is...
Thank you, it's Jan. Appreciate
for me to be able to just, never let Lucas feel like he's not taken care of. So, first thought was Lucas, though. Sorry, that was a long answer. Moving on. Number 10.
Number 10.
I don't think you're not your cursor.
I'm not. No, I'm not on the. Yeah, I'm on my other monitor. Or number 3.
Can we skip this one?
If you can change anything way about you were raised, what would it be?
Let's change it. Let's skip it.
I think yours. Yeah,
let's
I think
skip it.
We should skip yours for sure.
Well, let's just skip it. Yeah, we'll skip it.
Yeah. Okay, we'll skip that one. So this is one of those questions that, like, we're not comfortable necessarily answering. You would tell me in a heartbeat, right? You know the answer.
Yes.
You know the answer to that question.
Yes.
It's just not something we're necessarily going to put out on the internet.
Right.
Sorry, folks.
I understand that we're on the internet, and I understand that part of us being on the internet is talking about ourselves, but there are just some places I'm not willing to go.
Well, and it involves people because it's not a conversation just between the two of us. Right. It involves other people in our lives
and we don't know who's
may or may not be watching these things and may or may not be prepared to hear those things. Quite frankly, if I were to answer that question, I just told you one of the things that I'm the most grateful for is the way that I was brought up. So I don't know. I don't know that I would change a whole lot of the way that I was brought up.
I think I have. I had an answer for that question for you.
Okay.
That was that you wouldn't have been introduced to a cleaning lady as early as you were in your life, which is just a matter of your family having the means to do that. And now, both of us were raised in homes where, like, every Wednesday was laundry day and cleaning day in my house. Every Wednesday. But my mom did all of it. Like, she would show me how to clean the bathroom and show me how to do things. But my mom always did it when we were at school. So, like, I just never got into the habit of cleaning, which means it's been a huge struggle as an adult to clean. For me, huge struggle because I never got in that habit growing up.
All right, this will be super interesting, right? I dated a guy who did everything.
He had no idea. Interesting. Take 4 minutes and tell your partner your life story in as much detail as possible. Here's the thing.
Again, we've been together for 16 and a half years.
I feel like this one is more for all of you than it is for us because we both know each other's life story. So I think this is more so for people who are, like, in the beginnings of their relationship, that they're getting to know each other. Like, and again, this would be more for all of you. And I don't know. I mean, we can answer it, but I don't. It's not really, like, for either one of us.
No, I feel like.
We talk about our life so much on this show.
And this is like a brief synopsis for somebody that you have just started seeing or interested in or dating or whatever. Right? So for me to give you the 4-minute synopsis of my life, quite frankly, damn near half of it includes you.
Well,
you already know.
Exactly.
We've been together for 16 and a half years. I'm 36. Almost half my life includes you.
The part leading up to November or October of 2003 when we met, that would maybe take 2 minute and a half. Yeah. The rest of it is us being together. So
here, ready for it? I'm the most privileged motherfucker that you've ever met. There. Ooh. End of story.
That doesn't tell me enough. That concerns me, and I don't think I want to date you. I don't know if this is going to work.
But it's true, and you know that.
I do.
I like I said, like I
But
just
I
said,
know
I am
that
oftentimes
now.
the most privileged person in the room, and again, I'm grateful for that, right? I also acknowledge that, but
I'm just saying, if you ever end up back out in the dating scene, I wouldn't lead with that.
well,
I wouldn't be like, or if you're meeting a new friend, I'm the most privileged mother ever you know. Boo. Like, I wouldn't, no, I wouldn't lead with that.
yeah, I get that.
Oh, okay. Just, I've only known, first world problem, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, seriously, Mara. That's a fair way of putting it. That's a
Yeah.
maybe less arrogant Bobby way of putting it, but yes,
But
absolutely.
what would it be if it wasn't the arrogant Bobby way?
I know, exactly.
I
So-
grew up in a deaf family. There's the end of it.
No, for sure. That's definitely
Yeah.
part of it, though. That would be your 4-minute synopsis of your life was you grew up in a deaf family. For
Right.
sure, yeah.
If you could wake up tomorrow having gained any one quality or ability, what would it be?
Wait, are we talking about superpowers? Let's talk about superpowers.
Okay.
I would have fucking read people's minds.
I was going to say the ability to run, but if we're going to go superpowers,
I would read people's minds.
yeah, I think we're
See, exactly, Mare. Superpowers or not? I think
delay. It's a
superpowers.
delay, yeah.
Oh, you wanna like telekinesis?
No, like psych. I don't know what she means.
Like
She grew up when we did.
okay, like Professor X. I want to do that minus the wheelchair.
I want to teleport. Be
You
wherever.
want to be Nightcrawler.
Yeah, wherever I can be, wherever I need to be, instantly.
Okay,
So-
sure.
I don't know why. It just sounds like a good. There's a kid that I work with who constantly talks about teleporting, and
Well, that's okay if we said the same thing. You can have the same superpower.
no, she said no. We said it at the same
Oh,
time.
gotcha.
Like, you need to get closer. So, I would want to know what people think of me.
Oh, sure.
Interesting.
That would
I don't-
kind of be like mind reading, though, right?
I think I would. I'm such a people pleaser that truly knowing what people think of me would probably damage my soul.
Okay, so let's talk about that for a second. So let's take a random tangent down. Like we were talking a little bit about this earlier. because
Tangent Avenue?
There was that time in my life where I was a fairly well-known person in the Minnesota car community, and people kind of knew who I was, and I would do things, and maybe they heard about it, but I didn't know who they were, and they would, oh, you did that thing, you're this guy, whatever. Knowing what everybody thinks of you all the time, it's difficult because and this is something that Jason Matheson, who is a
I love
local
Jason.
internet celebrity, local TV celebrity,
He
has said,
was on the radio. He was on TV, then radio, and now radio and TV. Yes.
you can't buy into things that people say about you, because if you buy into what people say about you, you not only have to buy into the good things that people say about you, but you have to buy into the bad things that people say about you.
No, thank you.
You can't do either or. And so, to some degree, it's like, do you want to know what people think of you? Because what if it's really shitty? Then you're like, oh, ooh, that person doesn't like me.
Yeah, no, Meredith, I'm with you on that. Not having any anxiety, that would be great. To wake up and have the ability to not be anxious about everything and worry and go down the spiral. For sure, that would be a great thing to wake up with.
Sure.
To no longer have that, because
So,
that is.
I think that it would be one thing. I guess it depends on how you want to handle it or how you're able to handle it, right? Like, if you found out that somebody you thought liked you or like at least was like an acquaintance of yours secretly didn't like you, like, how are you going to handle that? Is that really something that's going to affect you? And you're gonna like get stuck on that? Or is it like you want to just be able to write that person off and go, all right, fine, I don't need you?
Right. So anyway, that was a good one.
Yeah, I like that question.
Oh, if a crystal ball could tell you the truth about yourself, your life, the future, or anything else, what would you want to know? I would want to know if we come out on the other side of this and can ever live the way we once did, ever in the future, ever again. That's what I want to know.
Will 2020 end without anything else going wrong?
Will 2020 just be done?
Yeah.
Will it ever end?
Ooh, you know what I would ask it? I would ask it, will you hand me the beer, please?
No, I will not. I'm not a crystal ball. I would also actually, so like, I would also, I would like to know if the child we lost was a boy or a girl. That's what I would also like to know.
Okay, hold on a second. For those who don't know us, we had a miscarriage, and we gave the fetus a name based on some weird dream that you had, which was Gus. Mm-hmm. Now, if it turns out Gus was going to be born female, what would you rename Gus?
What do you mean?
Well, you couldn't call her Gus.
Sure you could.
Okay, fine.
Why not?
All right. You would want to know if you're successful in the future. That's a great question.
There are really ghost spirits of people after they're gone.
Okay, sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
I think I would want to know also if ultimately we really like don't have any more children. I mean, we're in a place right now where we're not planning to have any more children, but I think I want to know that. Like, is that really gonna happen? Is that it? Like, are we really one and done? I just want to know.
All right, two things. Two of mine are very much like more on a scientific like scale. Mm-hmm. One, what is the balance of nature versus nurture? How much are we born with as human beings? What is like the nature of being a human? What is the human condition? How much stuff do we do only because we're human beings, and how much stuff do we do because we're taught those things?
Right.
That's always been a super, super fascinating concept to me. The Harlow monkey studies, obviously we can't do those, we can't replicate those because they're super unethical, especially to do on human beings. But it's fascinating to me, the stuff, the implications that has. Number 2, is there a God?
That's deep.
I'm agnostic, so that to me is like, that is the quintessential question of being agnostic.
Sure.
Is there a God?
Sure.
I don't know.
Sure. All right, I think we can do one more because I actually do have to be done at 9 o'clock.
Sarah legitimately has to
I work
be
an
done.
overnight shift tonight, so I had to go take a nap.
Look up bonobos. Okay.
Bonobos.
As in monkeys, right?
I don't know.
Right? We're talking about apes? Yeah?
Probably. I don't think it's God.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with monkeys.
I don't think bonobos has anything to do with God. No.
Is there something you've dreamed of doing for a long time, and why haven't you done it? Oh, probably 100 things.
Oh, there's lots of things. I can come with a whole list of things. Yeah.
Like,
what are like your top? Do you have more than one?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. You know that. I never do anything that I actually want to do.
I know.
Yeah. Because I think that it affects everyone else too much negatively, so I just don't do anything. I mean, going back to Disney World is just us.
Right.
Or with adult friends.
Why haven't you done that? I don't know. COVID-19.
Well, we had a baby.
And a baby.
And it's expensive.
Yeah, and babies are expensive, yeah.
Oh. Dreamed of coming out to my parents. I'm non-binary.
Right.
Yeah. Well, that's a good
So obviously I take it they don't know then?
Yeah. I also... That's
got to be tough too.
Yeah.
I mean, you and I are heterosexual cisgendered folks. That's we don't know what that's like. So
right.
I imagine that's tough though.
I also in my other life, I'm also a Zumba instructor, and something I've always wanted to do is attend the annual, well, not this year, the annual Zumba convention in Miami. And why haven't I done it? Because I only know 2 other Zumba instructors in the state of 3 in the state of Minnesota, none of which I'm like super close with, and I don't think any of them actually all attended the convention. So part of it is I'm terrified of just going on my own and not knowing anybody from my own state or anybody, period. And also it's kind of expensive. And I think I've been of the mind, I've traveled for work to go attend conferences, but they've always been paid for by a grant. And so for me, if I'm going to spend a lot of money to go somewhere cool and do something cool, I would rather do it with Bobby, like travel. And so I always feel selfish when I think about going to this Zumba convention, spending all this money on the conference and food and a hotel and all of that stuff. And he's not even there to enjoy it with me because you're not doing Zumba. So,
but you know me, I'm an extrovert. I will go find something to do.
While I'm in trainings all day.
I'll go get drunk and find a bunch of people to talk to.
You will. It's Miami. And maybe you can go find where Dexter was filmed. I don't know. I wanted to be a teacher, but I chose not to because when planning a career, I was afraid of not being able to survive if I stayed. Sure, that's fair.
Sure.
I've always wanted to say confidently in public what I believe about genders.
So let me ask you this: are you comfortable saying what that is in the chat? Like, we're not going to judge.
True. I finally decided in 2019 to go into HR.
I get that it's public, it's on the internet.
Yes.
This is Twitch. Anyone can see it, but you also have a little bit of anonymity being on the internet.
Ultimately, of course, my dream that I had up until December of last year was to have a baby.
You think genders are on a spectrum?
Oh,
okay.
Sure.
That would not be the first time I've heard somebody say that. Absolutely.
No. What about you? Things you've dreamed of doing for a long time, and what haven't you done?
Other
than having a really fancy car.
Well, okay, hang on a second though, because that's.
Yeah, I know.
So the car that I drive now is the hopped up sports car version of the car that of the Infiniti Q50, right? And my dad was always the kind of guy. My dad leased cars. He would get a new car every 2 years or so, and he would always walk into a car dealership, and we would walk past the fancy hopped up sports car version of the car he was wanting to buy,
yeah.
And he'd go, "Should I buy that one?" And I knew he was joking, but of course I was like, "Fuck yeah, you should buy that one," because I'm a 17-year-old kid, and I'm like, "Hell yeah, you should buy the cool one."
Because then I can drive it.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, now that we live the life that we live and I can afford to have the fancy hopped up sports car version of it, I went and bought that fancy hopped up sports car version because I knew that that's what my dad died having never bought that car.
Right. But is there a dream car that you want to be able to afford one day?
That's not there are lots of dream cars. I mean, if you're talking about totally realistic and affordable, it's a 69 Stingray Corvette with a 427 in it. Those are totally affordable. If you're talking about ultra unrealistic because I just fucking want one, yes, the Porsche 918. It's $1.5 million and it's an electric hybrid.
Details.
It is the coolest freaking thing.
So why haven't you
ever.
done it?
Because I don't have $1.5 million.
I'm just kidding.
If anybody wants to give me $1.5 million, you can hit the tip jar down in the button. No, I'm kidding. I'm totally kidding.
Get that Porsche in the driveway. Yeah. Now I think that's always interesting to think about, and obviously dreams change over time. But I think that as adults, as working professionals, as now parents, we our dreams kind of go on the back burner because our financial priorities. Ultimately, the convention thing is just me being an introvert and not wanting to go somewhere by myself. But I think a lot of these things that we talk about involve money. And for a long time, that money was the reason we weren't able to do a lot of the things we wanted to do.
Skydiving, I want to do skydiving, but that's more of a bucket list thing. What's stopping me? I don't want to frickin' die, and so I want to do it when I'm maybe about to die, in case I actually die, and then I don't care.
I mean, I care.
That's the whole bucket list thing, right?
You don't take Lucas.
Well, I'm not going to take, unless he wants to come with me. Okay, look, hopefully by the time that I'm on a bucket list, Lucas will be well into his 30s. What?
But hopefully he'll be in his 50s.
Well, I get that, but...
What? How old do you think you're going to live to be?
I don't know. I have diabetes. We'll see.
I have diabetes.
I do actually have diabetes, folks. It is well controlled. Don't worry. My last A1C was under 6, but...
Treat yourself days. I agree. Oh, you can get booted off your life insurance if you skydive. I did not know that.
Interesting. I had no idea. Huh.
We'll verify that. I'll probably see our insurance guy tomorrow.
I had no idea. Huh. Huh.
Interesting.
What else would I do that I've dreamt of?
Treat yourself days.
Yeah, I don't know that I have any shoot a Mark 19 grenade launcher. Why haven't I done that? Oh, I don't know, because they're very cost prohibitive, and where the hell am I going to shoot that?
Yeah, interesting. Well, so yeah, dreams are things I would, I think the one that I think is possible, could still happen, is the two of us going to Disney on our own.
Sure. No, that's definitely feasible. Yeah. That's a couple years out.
And I realize that there may be people who are Disney, you go to frickin' Ireland. I could pick anywhere in the world to dream of going to. But Disney has significance to us, and we haven't been there, just the two of us, since we got engaged. And I think that, but we just have a blast if we had time to go together. Oh no, Disney is great. Yes, I want to do 2 days in Epcot. Mm-hmm. Just go to all.
I know
the places.
You could spend 3 days just walking around the fountain and eating and drinking everywhere. Let's see. I want to enter the flow state. I don't know what that is.
I'm not advanced. I'm guessing it's martial arts because they're not advanced at martial arts.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not. What is that?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question. Yeah.
It sounds like if you were to enter a whole nother state of consciousness.
Right. Initially, I was thinking
or be
meditation.
Super high on drugs. I don't know.
Right. Initially, I was thinking meditation. Then until I read the martial arts parts, I don't know. But I don't know.
Do we have time for one more?
No, we really don't. I have to go to bed.
Okay, that's fine. Sarah's got to work tonight. She's working at her part-time job.
Yay! It's a short shift, but it's one of those things where
it's overnight hours.
Interrupting my flow state is where my body acts on its own. Interesting.
Oh, okay.
So it is kind of like a state of okay, interesting. All right. Well, something to aspire to for sure. Yeah. So we'll come back to this next week.
Yeah, we're on. So, reminder, just for us, we are on number 15. We're going to go on to number 15.
Numero 15 next week at 8 o'clock on Wednesday, and we'll be here. And Bobby will be on Sunday for his beer show at 1 o'clock.
Talking about craft beer on Sunday. We have Mr. Josh Letty from Back Channel Brewing coming on. We'll be hanging out, talking with him, especially about COVID and reopening and how that's affected the craft beer industry. Yeah. They've been open for 4 weeks now because their outdoor area is so big.
Yeah, in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
Kind of.
And then Monday, Miss Berry and I and a couple of other friends of ours are playing D&D.
They are.
So if anyone out there is a Dungeons and Dragons nerd, hang out with us on Monday. We're starting that at 9 o'clock.
I teach Zumba on Monday night, so I won't be part of the Dungeons and Dragons thing, but you can't find me on Twitch, unfortunately. I do my classes on Zoom, but if you are, I doubt you're interested, but if you are, reach out to this guy and he'll get you hooked up.
I'll get you settled. Yeah. We'll get that squared away if you want to do Zumba.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because it's fun. We have a great time. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and next week,
come see if Miss Berry dies. Yes, you're in a very precarious situation, Miss Leroy Jenkins.
Dun, dun, dun. Yeah, and hopefully, and actually next week will also have to be a 9 o'clock end time because I work next Thursday overnight as well. I don't know why I scheduled myself, people. I don't know what I did. Whatever, doesn't matter. We'll be here next Wednesday at 8 o'clock Central Time. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye, guys.
Good night.
Oh, you know what we're going to do? Because I always forget to do this. We're going to go raid somebody. Let's go raid. All right. So we're going to go raid a guy called Minnesota Taz. He is a local Minnesota streamer. He does food and drink. Yay. He's a big beer guy.
Food and drink.
Yeah.
Right there.
He's a big beer guy. He's a big soccer fan. So he's usually cooking on stream at this time of night.
Oh, is it the guy that I've seen? The long hair?
No.
Oh, no.
Nope, different guy.
Oh, man.
But they're local people, so at some point we might actually go meet them in person.
Okay, cool.
And hang out with them. So, we're going to go raid him. Say hi to him if you want to get more cool stuff from a British guy, then, yeah.
Oh, what happened?
Nope, it's fine. I just paused. Yeah, we're good.
All right.
All right, y'all.
Bye.
Let's go raid Taz. Hang on.
Adios. Oh. He's going to do something.
We figure out how the heck I do this. Dashboard. There we
my
go.
Lanta, this is taking too long.
I know.
Typical. Doesn't prepare in advance. Just tries to do it on the fly.
All right, yo. What's Taz cooking tonight? I don't know what he's cooking. We're going to find out. We are going to go over to Taz's channel in like 4 seconds. Oh, he also plays D&D on Sundays. So there you go.
Okay. Gotta turn this on.